Hey, good morning, everybody. And congratulations for all of you who obviously set their clocks forward. I'm sure there'll be some late stragglers today.
Late strayers. That's what the race alarm was for.
All right.
Oh, you're clicking because I got nothing. Don't you? I have 0, 0, 0, 0. That's all I see.
Down arrow.
Unless you want me to.
There it is. All right. Deja vu.
Yes.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your heart and repeat after me. We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
In the name of love. Now look at the person next to you. Say, God loves me and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your heart and repeat after me. We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love. In the name of love.
From every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite. In honor of the God, all of us. Look at the person next to you. Say, Namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your heart and repeat after me. We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
In the
name of love. In the name of love.
I'm not sure where Gene is this morning, but I'm Travis Wiley. I'm the prayer chaplain for today, and I want to welcome all of you here to Unity Church of Little Rock. I know we have one visitor that's here for the first time. If I may, Heather is here, friend of Beverly, so glad you're here, Heather. And we'll make sure you get a welcome packet before you leave. Is there anyone else here that's first time? Anybody visiting for the first time in a long time that would like to be recognized? All right, well, we're really glad you're here this morning, and we're excited about the service we have today. But before we get into that, let's take a moment. Let's kind of bring our thoughts and our mind in from all the cares of the world, and want to just kind of center them on the space that we have here and do our opening prayer. And, you know, the power for this month is wisdom, and the word for today is sacred service. And, of course, Beverly's been doing her workshop on meditation. So I was thinking of those three things over the last few days, the meditation and the wisdom and the sacred service, and realizing that it's through our prayer and our meditation life that we gain the wisdom and the direction that leads us to our sacred service. So I'd like for you to relax, close your eyes, and take a big breath in and then blow it out. And turn your attention to the divine nature of this very moment, recognizing that we are all here by divine appointment. As we focus our thoughts on the truth of our being, there is one power from which all life flows, and we are that power. And as you take that thought deeper into your mind, meditate and say to yourself, I am the presence of pure being, emanating the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. Let me say that again. I am the presence of pure being, emanating the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. And with this knowledge comes power. Power and wisdom to direct our actions to be of the highest service to others. And we express appreciation for the opportunity to be of service to others and to be an expression of divine love. And so it is. All right, you can open your eyes and come back to this moment. And now we're going to stand and take a few minutes for our meet and greet. So everybody stand up and take a chance to meet your neighbor. And as we do that, we'll have a song. Okay, yeah. Hey, howdy, neighbor. All right, the crash candle's next. So. Yeah, good. So. Yeah, I'll call you. Yeah, you can come up. Yeah, so. There you are.
It wasn't time. I've been walking in glasses.
Uh-oh. There you are. That's fine. Well, just, it happened. Well, I guess I'll get up there and do it. So. All right, and I've got
something.
I think I'm going to light the cross candle. And Becky's going to help me with that. And then I'll say the statement of being, and then we'll do the special song.
I didn't realize
I didn't know it either. So.
Good morning.
Yep. Okay. Do you want to get you a copy of one of these?
All right, as you make your way back to your seat, I think most people in the room know this song, so feel free to sing along with us, even though we're might
counting on it.
do it a little differently. Just sing it your own way, if you will.
As long as you don't sound like the parrot, we're okay.
What would you think if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key.
Oh,
I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. Gonna try with a little help from my friends. What do I do when my love is away?
Does it worry you to be alone?
How do I feel by the end of the day?
Are you sad because you're on your own? Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. Gonna try with a little help from my friends.
Do you need anybody?
I need somebody to love.
Could it be anybody?
I want somebody to love.
Would you believe in love at first sight?
Yes, I'm certain that it happens all the time.
What do you see when you turn out the light?
I can't tell you, but I know it's mine. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. Gonna try with a little help from my friends.
Do you need anybody?
I need somebody to love.
Could it be anybody?
I want somebody to love.
Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help, with a little help, with a little help from my friends.
come now to that part of the service of lighting the Christ candle, and Becky is going to do that for us this morning. This represents our light shining out into the universe, into the cosmos, so that we can shine. And thank you, Becky. And now we want to say our statement of being, which should be on the board. So everyone will repeat with me. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. And so it is.
Okay. All right, we're going to continue now with our month-long tribute to Eddie Watkins Jr., who, if you weren't here last week, you don't remember, he was actually quite the bass player. He played with the Temptations and other. He was from Detroit. He played with a lot of the Motown bands. I believe he's living in Denver now, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Anyways, I did meet him at the conference a couple weeks ago, and he is pretty awesome. And this one is called You and Me. One life living as you and me, one life shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me. God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one life shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy, I just want to shout. One life living as you and me, one life shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one life shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy, I just want to shout. One life, one life, one love. One life, one life, one love. One life, one life, one love. Oh. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy, I just want to shout. One life living as you and me, one life shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One love living as you and me, one life shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. 'Cause God is all there is. All right, we're going to switch things up a little bit today. Stay there. We're going to do the, I've got a song now leading us into meditation by Beverly Pryor, who is back with us again this month, and who some of you have been attending her workshop, I think, this weekend. So we're going to do this little song, kind of get us a little bit more mellow here. Are you ready for the meditation and Beverly's talk? This is called I Am, and I Am. I think we're just going to start this one. That I know, the seed that grows to beauty as a rose for all to see. I'm more than I know, like the wind that blows, trusting where life goes so wild and free. I am. I'm more than I know. Like the wind is snow, so beautiful and bold out on the land. I'm more than I know. Light it always shines, my own inner glow that will not end. I am, I am, Just take that contemplative mood down. We'll welcome Beverly Pryor to lead us in meditation.
Or just straight into the talk? Okay. We moved it around a little bit today, so I just wanted to make sure because we had it scheduled for after the talk, but I wanted to meditate prior to the talk because meditation and mindfulness is part of my talk, and so I think it's really good to get us in that space. So if you will, just put both of your feet on the floor and sit straight up and let yourself scoot back so that the seat supports you in a way that your spine is erect, right? And then allow yourself, as if you have a little cord here in the back of your head or the top of your head, just pull you straight from the very base of your spine all the way up. We want all your spine aligned. And then, if you will, just let your hands sit on your lap with your palms facing up. This is a hand position called a mudra. And so we're just going to use the open and receptive mudra. And for this meditation, we will be closing our eyes. We've been practicing different types of meditation during the workshop, and sometimes you can meditate with your eyes open, and sometimes we meditate with our eyes closed. But today, let's close our eyes. And together, let's just take a deep breath in. And slowly release. And as we release, we just notice that we allow all of the distractions and the busyness of the day to just fade away. Together, let's take another deep breath in. And slowly release. Just continuing that release of distractions, the hurry and the busyness of this new spring morning. Allowing ourselves to become present to this moment and this time. Now bring your attention to your breath. Noticing as the breath is moving in the nostril. Bring your attention to that very engaged point where the breath is entering the nostril. As it moves in, it feels a little cool. And as you release, it's just a little bit warmer. Bring your attention to that subtlety of that transition. Now continuing to breathe just at your normal pace. Follow that breath as it moves deep within. Deeper, deeper, and deeper still. Into the very center of your being. It's your secret place of the Most High. You've been here before. It's where you began. This is where you know the very truth of you. You are love. You are peace. And you are joy. Allow yourself to just connect in and bask in this truth of your very nature. You may notice sounds in the room. A little sniff, a cough, a car passing by. Just accept the sounds in your environment. You may notice a little discomfort that you brought in today, some tension, a little ache or pain in your body, or a sense of well-being. Just accept the sensations in your body. You may have emotions arising. Just be with those emotions. Just accept those emotions as your very own. Completely aware and completely accepting yourself and your environment. Let's move now into a time of silence. Now slowly and gently, just bring your attention back to being present in this space, in this time, fully aware of that connection to your very true and divine nature. And when you're ready, you can move your fingers and toes and gently open your eyes. You may want to take a deep breath and release. How did that feel for you? Nice? That meditation combined many different forms of meditation. As we've been discussing in the meditation workshop this weekend, there are open-eyed meditations, there are closed-eyed meditations, there are insight meditations that take you within, and then there are mindfulness meditations that make you aware of your environment. In Unity, we like to go to the silence, right, which is an introspective. Our prayer process and our meditation process are really the same thing, but it takes you within to connect to your own divine nature. That's an insight meditation. A mindfulness meditation is meant to make you aware and connect with your senses and aware of your environment, and also to allow you to be at peace in that environment no matter what's going on. You keep your center. And then we also combine some connection with our senses. It's mindfulness, and we also brought in, what else was I going to say? I don't know. My mind just went into meditation all of a sudden. I'm like, yeah, that was good. Because it brings you that stillness. I'm sorry, I meditate when I guide meditation. I go into meditation myself. So then I'm like, okay, then come back out. But it gives you that connection. I mean, there's no one way, right? There are people that teach different practices of meditation, and they may teach you a specific practice of meditation, and that might be the way of that practice. But for you as an individual, open eye may be your form of meditation. Closed may feel more comfortable. We had that experience in discussion yesterday. Insight meditation may be good for you. Charles Fillmore, one of the founders of Unity, would sit for hours, and he would call it going to headquarters, right? Because he would connect in, and he would be connected with that infinite source. You know, in Unity, I know Heather's new to Unity. Some of you, others may be new to Unity. Our first two principles kind of explain this whole experience, because we believe that God is everywhere in all things, in all animate and inanimate. Every vibration in this world is that energy of source that's called God, that's called Yahweh, Allah. It's all the same thing, right? It's that which is everything. And we each are an expression of that in and of ourselves. We're not all of God, but God is all of us. We are fully expressing that. Each one of us, all of us. And no matter of our choices or free will or how we show up, we can never not be divine. Not that all of our choices are divine, but we always come back to center, and we're still that pure essence that we came in as, right? So the different forms of meditation that you can experience help you to get back in contact with that which you see in a little baby's face, right? That little, when they come into the world, they're just, we all love to just stare at babies, right? Because they're just giving it. They're like, I'm love, and I'm just here to just experience love. That's all I can do. Feed me, change me, and I'm still love. You know, I might be crying for some help every once in a while, but we're still those babies, aren't we? We just want to be here, and we want to be fed. We want to experience and to express that divine nature that we always are, but we get into our circumstances and we pick up beliefs. You know, and a belief is just, it's just the repetition of the thoughts and the actions. And when you pick up a thought and you pick up an action and you repeat it over and over, it becomes your belief system. And you may pick it up from your family of origin. You may pick it up from collective consciousness of the whole world, all of the human beings. You don't always know exactly where your silly beliefs come from, right? Especially the ones from family of origin, because you don't remember when you were 4 and Uncle Joe told you these stupid, scary stories, and then you develop this belief that there's a boogeyman outside at night, you know, you could never go out the door.
You know, so you develop, and I don't have an Uncle Joe, and I'm sorry to your Uncle Joe if you do, but there those uncles and, you know, friends and whoever, and a lot of times those fears that are implanted in us are implanted from an aspect of love, right? Because they've suffered from whatever fear or concern they've had. So their expression of love is to share that fear with you, right? So you don't have to suffer like they suffered, but all they're doing is giving you a share of their suffering. But as we've talked about in the meditation class, you know, the Buddhists say 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows, right? We're not meant to be without struggle and contrast, as we like to call it. They called it joy and sorrow. Carl Jung called it the shadow, right? But if you're always love and you never experience hate or unhappiness or anger, then how do you really appreciate the beauty of love without the contrast to say, oh, that's not it, and this is what I choose? So we have received free will as human beings, right? So we can learn and know and do all kinds of things, and we can be aware of a lot of important lessons and learnings from all the ancient texts from all over the world. But if we're not employing what we call the fifth principle, put it into action, then, you know, we're not exercising our free will. Or we are exercising our free will, and the results are as random as our choices, you know? So if we're not mindful in our choices, then we get less mindful results. So I'm going to see if I'm pressing. I apologize for being so unskilled with this, but let's see. Yes, that's mindful manifestation is our topic today. So I'm blending in the mindfulness of meditation, but also mindfulness in your everyday, right? So mindfulness, you hear it a lot, right? It's a buzzword. It's in psychology. It's come originally from practices of Buddhism and various ancient practices. But it's also been integrated into, if you're familiar with Jon Kabat-Zinn, he has integrated it into stress management as a medical practice. So it is actually a technique, but it's a mental state achieved by focusing your awareness, right? You're focusing your awareness in the present moment, like we did in the meditation just then, right? We integrated some mindfulness. Even though we went inside to our insight meditation technique, then we were also aware of our environment with the mindfulness. And the point of our meditation class this week is experience all these different things and then design your own meditation practice, right? You are an individual and you have free will. You can decide what works for you. If you try to put on someone else's meditation practice, it's not necessarily going to work for you. And you might feel like a failure. I can't meditate. Everyone can meditate. When I first started learning meditation decades ago, my dad loved to have a garden, but he was a good Southern Baptist man. Well, actually, he was Methodist, but my mom was Southern Baptist, so that was how we went. But he said to me, I don't know about that meditation stuff, but when I'm in my garden, I ask God a question, and I hoe to the end of the rope, and I hoe back, and I have my answer. And I said, there you go, Daddy. You're meditating. And I see Heather smiling because she remembers my dad, because she knew him. Heather's my friend from college. So I'm really thankful you're here today, and I appreciate you coming. And so mindfulness, you'll hear that word, but mindfulness as a noun, that's why I have this up here, it's a state of being, right? I'm being mindful of, you know, in Europe, you know, in the UK, when you get on the train, they say, mind the gap, right? Mind the gap. Give your attention to the gap so you don't put your foot in there. Give your attention to, right? So mindfulness is striving to be in the moment, as opposed to what are we normally doing? Past, yesterday, this morning, somebody said, or what about? And when we're doing that, what kind of energy are we usually applying to the past or the future? Yeah, anxiety, fear, frustration. We have a lot of different emotions. None of them are wrong. Emotions come and go, and they're meant to come and go. They are something that we're supposed to experience, right? You see children that play on the playground. First of all, they don't even have to talk, right? They just see each other, and then they start running together. And all of a sudden, they're playing tag. But nobody said, hey, would you like to play a game of tag? They just started, like birds in the sky. Kids just know intuitively. But they also might go, you cheated on that game, blah, blah, blah. And the other one says, no, I didn't. And then they go, and they've already, that emotion has had its moment, and then they're done with it. Why don't we still do that? Right? Why can't we? We can choose to, right? We can make ourselves like little children. This is what the ancient text, Jesus spoke, right? He said, be like little children. Let your minds be open and receptive, and be playful and have fun. But let those emotions move through you. Don't get hung up on them. Be mindful and aware. Notice it. But don't get all in it and get yourself spun up and spiral down and get stuck in the muck, right? Just let it go. I had a roommate. Heather and I were good friends, but we were never roommates. But I had a friend, Jennifer. You remember Jennifer? And she and her family, she had sisters, and they like to kind of hold grudges and be mad. And we would argue about something, dishes or food or something, and we'd say our piece, and then I'm done, right? And I'd just move on. And then later she'd want to be mad at me, and I'm like, well, what now? And she's like, well, and I said, but we already talked about that. We had that moment. And she told me later, she said that really helped her learn to let it go, because that wasn't how she was raised, right? So she had grown up in kind of a belief system of you get this thing and you hang on to it. And then I'm like, well, I forgot about that. We had that little meh, and we settled it, right? And I'll do better, or you'll do better, or we won't, but we'll deal with the consequences at that time, We just need to be mindful of those emotions, but they're not the emotion that we have to stick with just because we have it in that moment, right? You have fear in the moment. Maybe you see a snake. Well, you should have a little fear. That's natural. But you don't have to always be fearful of walking by something, a stick or whatever. Our minds are so strong and creative. So we have to be mindful of the responsibility of being a human being, right? I love the illustration here of the drop in the water, because we are the center of our own universe, every one of us. And what happens around us? There's a ripple effect, right? So when we're balanced and we're mindful, we have a ripple effect. When we're paying attention and we're in this present moment, if you're checking out in the grocery store, you can notice there's a human being on the other side who's working that cash register. And maybe they're happy and smiling, and maybe they seem a little bit tender. And that one moment of you making eye contact and saying, how are you today? And then giving yourself a moment to really care, right? To be in that moment, to be connected, could really change that person's day. I brought those little bracelets again. They're in the basket, in the little, with the band that I'm wearing here. And sometimes I have those, well, most of the time I have them in my purse. And I don't just give them out all the time, but when I'm guided to, I give them to someone, and almost inevitably, someone will say, I really needed that today. I can see on their face the relief. Like, oh, I'm giving them just a simple little thing, but I'm also giving them encouragement, right? I'm giving them, hey, I see you, and here's something for you, and hopefully it will help you. But being present in that moment, we are the center, I think it was Patanjali who described us being the center of the universe, or God being, the center is everywhere. and the circumference cannot be found. I use that often in my meditations when we're out, going into the cosmos, because we are also that, right? Because we're each an expression of God. So if God's center is everywhere without a circumference, and we're an expression of God, our center is also everywhere, and there's no circumference. I mean, energetically, yes, we have most of our gross energy in this physical body, but that's not the limit to who we are, right? We have energy layers that go way beyond where we are. I mean, have you ever picked up the phone to call someone and the phone rang and that was that person on the phone? How do you think you did that? Was it magic? Witchcraft? No, we are connected. We're all connected with one another. So when people get angst and worried about, the world, well, the world has always had its contrast, right? There's always been loving beings, and there have always been people who were struggling to express the love that they are in the world, or expressing it. One of my teachers, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, says love and hate are the same. They're just being expressed differently, right? Because if you hate something, it's an expression of the opposite of what you love, right? You love something so much that you hate the contrast of it. Maybe you're misplacing your focus, but still at the core of it is the love of something, right? So we're going to talk about, mindful as an adjective is a little bit different, like I'm using it today. Mindful manifestation, right? It's an adjective. It describes the way in which we want to manifest. Do you know you're never not manifesting, right? You're always, because you are that expression of source, you're always creating. There's never a moment in your life, even in your dreams, when you're asleep, you're creating. So the thoughts that you have before you fall asleep and the thoughts that you have when you wake up matter, right? So that's why, the old, when they have wedding showers and people go around and give the bride advice, one of the favorite ones, I'm not going to tell you my mom's favorite one to share with people. I'll tell you later if you ask me, but it's a little bit naughty. But a lot of times people say, don't go to bed angry. Well, even if you're going to bed by yourself, don't go to bed angry, right? It's good advice for being married, but it's also good advice for living. Don't go to bed angry, because that energy of anger is going to go permeate into your dreams. And how do you think you're going to wake up in the morning? Yeah, angry and frustrated. And then you're going to be confused by that crazy dream you had. So intentionally and mindfully choose your emotion before you go to sleep. Choose how you're going to manifest, how you're going to create your evening, how you're going to create your morning the next day. My favorite practice before I even move, when I wake up in the morning, I want to consciously open my heart. And energetically, I consciously open my heart with love and gratitude. And it shifts. I feel good before I even put my feet on the floor. I'm like, yeah. Because it opens me. And then I don't even know what the possibilities are for my day, right? Because I've primed myself. I've made myself available to a higher vibration. Last time I was here, I talked about the work of David R. Hawkins and his work of the measurements of consciousness, right? And we talked about this a little bit yesterday in our meditation class. A circumstance is just a circumstance, right? And you can look at it neutrally, or you can look at it from a low vibration, and the consequences will be such. Or you can take that neutral observation of whatever your situation is and move it to a higher vibration, a higher thought of possibility or joy or anticipation or love. And you can have a whole different perspective on the exact same situation. And we have that choice. We can make that choice. And then the outcome, one of our universal laws is cause and effect, right? We are the cause, and our life is the effect. And I know sometimes people get really mad at me when I say that, because they're like, you're blaming us for all the stuff in our life. When you're unconscious creating, you create unconsciously. The results are that. They just are what they are. And the sooner that you say, okay, I'm going to own that, right? Maybe up until today, I have created unconsciously with my negative words or my negative attitude or whatever, and I'm dealing with that right now. I have disharmony in my relationships, or I'm struggling in my work, or whatever. But I'm choosing that, right? If you're brushing your teeth and you're going, oh, I hope my boss has a business trip today because I don't want to see him. But he's going to be there when you get there, or she. But you've already sent that negative vibe out to them. And believe me, they know, because I've been in that situation with the boss before. And I've had to personally correct it, right? I had to own that, you know what? When I look at myself, I'm happy when he cancels a meeting. How's he feeling about that? How's that energy from me going out into the world, right? So, how are we going to do this? So we're going to let our mind be full of stuff, or are we going to be mindful of our life and make those choices? See, like a little child, the child just sees the flowers and the sun without all that complicated, well, last time I was at the park, I skinned my knee. I can't go to the park ever again because remember I had a scab and it lasted forever, and then it peeled off, and oh my gosh, and then it bled and it made another scab. Do you remember those days when you were a kid? I had elbows and knees all the time, my chin had stitches, always. Yeah, I still do. I do too, actually, sometimes. But you don't stop playing, right? The kid's still going to go outside and you're still going to climb the tree. Even if you broke your collarbone, like my cousin Bobby bulldogged me when we were playing rodeo. Broke my collarbone. Well, I still wanted to play rodeo. I just maybe didn't want to be the calf. Right? Just choose. Choose your role. Choose your purpose in life. What do you want to be? How do you want to show up? Be mindful. And you know, and mindfulness also, yeah, you got that clutter in your brain. Yeah, it's there. So just observe it. Choose a meditation time or whatever time of reflective time that you like to you know, everybody has their own way. Eventually you will meditate. Eventually you will. If you don't have a practice now, at some point you will develop a practice. Because why? Because it lowers your anxiety. There's so many health benefits. It reduces your stress. It makes your brain function better. It increases the brain matter, the gray matter in your brain. There's so many reasons. If you were here on Friday night, then you watched the movie with us. And if you've been here yesterday, you've practiced some of these things. And you noticed, Jeannie, you can tell them with our Ujjayi breath, how calming. Yeah, you can just really change the way you feel when you're mindful, when you're choosing how you show up and you're choosing the practices that you integrate into your life. Not everybody has to do, you know, pretzel pose yoga in order to have a mind-body balance. You can do simple yoga, right? You can just do it sitting in a chair. There are things that you can do to open your spine and open your consciousness. So, manifestation, we talked about that, right? We're never not creating. Cause and effect is always in place. So when we have a mindful manifestation, we get to create anew all the time. Just like I love the butterfly symbol, right? Because it once was this kind of creepy little caterpillar. I mean, you might find them charming, but all those legs, the way they work like that, you know, it's fascinating, but it's a little, but then they turn within in their nice little chrysalis, and then they come out. And it hurts, you know, it takes them a little while to come out. They got ooey gooey, and then that has to firm up and strengthen before they have these big, beautiful wings. Well, that's how we are too, right? When we turn within, and sometimes we don't really like what we see. We're like, oh, well, I have been doing that for a long time. I have been showing up that way. And I'm getting the same results, and I don't like them. And now what? Okay, I can keep doing the same thing. That is a choice you have. You can keep doing the same thing, whatever it is that you feel that's creating disharmony, or whatever it is that you're not creating because you're just not doing it. Because we do that too, right? You know, the reptilian brain, there's fight, there's flight, and there's freeze. Sometimes we just don't do anything, and that is also a choice, right? So, here's what I'm recommending. I have a little formula. I call it the 4 Fs, or Formula 4F, like Formula 1, right? Like how to really get yourself going in the right direction. So, yep, click. There we go. First of all, why can't we have fantasy? What happened to when we were kids playing? We used to play dress-ups, right? You know, I got married so many times on the sidewalk in the front of my house, you know, and I waited my turn every time, you know, with all the girls. We just, you know, put a pillowcase on our head for a veil. And Miss Bonnie Culberth across the street would give us these little size 5 high heels that they looked brand new to me. They were beautiful. She just had the nicest shoes. But we thought our foot fit in there just right, you know, and we were like, we'd walk down and we'd go up on the little, and somebody was the minister and we'd say, I do. And over and over, right? Or cowboys and Indians, or we would rake straw in the floor plan of a house, and you'd have your house over there under that tree, and my house would be over here. But we let ourselves just live fully in those moments, right? We let ourselves really explore, what would it be like if I lived in this house? What would it be like if I was captured by a cowboy and tied to a tree? I kind of got in trouble for tying kids to trees, to be honest with you. But it was fun, right? But what happened to that fantasy? So you're not dead, right? You still have a pulse, everybody check? You still got a pulse? So it's never too late to be what you might have been. That's one of my favorite quotes from George Eliot. It's never too late to be what you might have been, right? So you had this dream at one point of living in another country. If you had a dream, now there's so many house swaps and house sitting programs, and you can find a way for almost anything. And here's the beauty in meditation. When you get still and quiet, and you're just noticing, you're not judging, you're not evaluating, but you're opening yourself up to that infinite resource we call God, the way finds you, right? You get your fantasy clear, and I mean really full out live in it, right? Allow yourself to really dream big. Get the feeling of it. Have the experience of it's already done. That's the positive side of it, right? But how do we get to where we even know what our fantasies are? I heard a woman one time say, I don't have any fantasies. I don't have an imagination. We all have an imagination, right? It's one of our 12 spiritual powers that we talk about in Unity. But sometimes frustration can be that signal to what your fantasy actually is, right? So just like love and hate are 2 sides of the same coin, sometimes when we look at what really frustrates us in the world or in our life or in our relationships, that frustration can be a message. So if we take it and we're mindful about examining, what is it about this that frustrates me? Now, I'm not saying that person, that thing, the other is the frustration, right? This is about reflecting. So what is it? If I'm frustrated about that, then what is it I want instead? So that can take you, the frustration can take you to that fantasy. In these little packages that I give out with the bracelet, our tagline for our little nonprofit is called, "Be what you're for." One of the main messages is when you feel that opposition to a person or a place or a comment or a statement, when you're feeling that opposition and that frustration, turn that over, because underneath it is something you're for. If I'm against green fluorescent shirts, then I'm for what? Muted colors. I don't know. But what's my question here? Not, Sandy, I love you. I'm not against your shirt at all. But my eye is definitely drawn there because you brought the spring. You brought the spring in here, and I love it. So whatever it is, there's something, right? So just ask yourself. And maybe you don't get the answer right that minute, and you still want to be in your frustration. One of my friends said to me, "I just need to be in it." Okay, that's a choice. But from neutral, just being in it is spiraling down, just by the way, in case you don't know that on your own. I think you do, but it's pretty obvious. And sometimes we do just need to be in it for a minute. But give yourself a minute and then get out of it, right? Then make the choice. Be mindful of your experience. And then once you have that fantasy, let your focus be on that. Get your focus off of what you're against. Get your focus off of the problem. Get your focus on the fantasy. Put your attention on what you want. Speak about what you want. If you want a better relationship with your son or your daughter or your boss, then put your attention on the better relationship qualities. What does that look like? And stop complaining, right? Because you're splitting your energy, right? I think I might have mentioned this before. You're splitting your energy when you say, "Well, I really want a better relationship with this person." But you know what they're just, well, you're canceling it out. Hello. You're praying. Either way, you're praying, right? Either way. The Bible says, pray without ceasing. Well, I hate to tell you, that's not about sitting and praying and not, you are always praying without ceasing. That is an awareness, that the fact that you are always praying. So all of your words are creating all of the time. And they're always being fulfilled. Always. Always, 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 always. And people will say, "Well, I wanted this to happen, and it didn't. And I really put my focus on it, and it didn't happen." One of my friends said this to me recently. And I said, "Well, there must have been something within you. You were doing the activity, and you were saying, I set my goals, and I'm doing this. But there was a conflict within you about that outcome for whatever reason." And sometimes we don't know, right? We are a complicated little unit right here. We are mind, body, spirit. We are all of these things in one little being. So what we perceive in our mind, and really by now he has come around to say, well, really, that's not. He never wanted that. He was trying to do that particular thing for his wife, for his relationship. But it wasn't a job he wanted. I told him, I said, if you really wanted to have a job like that, you would have that job, right? It's the truth. When you put your focus on something, but you have to you have to be mindful of your own inner conflicts, right? Sometimes we say, well, I really want that, and that's my goal. And you can make it happen by will. But if you're efforting, even though you're making a little progress, but you're not feeling good about it, then there's something out of harmony about that, right? Sometimes we effort because someone else wants us to do it. Someone's told us, this is the right thing for you to do, so go do that. And then you're in the middle of it and you're going, this is not it. Well, you can choose again. Don't feel like a failure. You know, we are constantly recycling ourselves. Right? We have all new cells in our body every 7 years. Why can't you have a whole new life every 7 years if you want to? You're a whole new version of yourself. I had a conversation the other day with a former boss, and I was having some anxiety about it because there was some odd tension I didn't really understand. And so I got really centered before I called and talked with her. And in the conversation, there was a lot of healing and a lot of reconciliation, even though it wasn't necessarily spoken. But you could hear it in the tone of voice and the way the conversation flowed. And basically what I said was, you know what? You and I are two entirely different people than we were 10 years ago. And it's true, right? Even if you have children. I mean, Heather and I have stayed in contact for 30 years, 35, how many? I don't even want to know, but decades and decades. But we're not the same people we were back when we were in college. And thank goodness, right? Because I was annoying. I mean, really. You could laugh. I was joking. She's laughing because she knows it's true. But we change. And the essence of who we are is love. And when you know that, then you can be yourself through the change. But you don't have to keep other people from changing and growing, and you don't have to keep yourself from changing and growing, right? So you're always fulfilling, you're always manifesting. So if you're going to manifest, which you are, whether you want to or not, you are going to have outcomes. You're going to make choices, you're going to make decisions. Be mindful. Be mindful. Make those choices that are in alignment with what you desire in your life. And you'll have amazing lives, which you already do. But you'll have more and more amazing lives. And that's my wish for you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Beverly. There's a few points that you made that I'm hoping that I will be mindful about in the future.
One of them is he'll stop dogging Jeannie and taking her down like a calf.
Doggy? Yeah. Choose not to be the calf? Okay. Rodeos.
I bet the little one can sing this.
Yeah, this one, even if you don't know it, the melody repeats, the words just change. So feel free to join us in once you pick it up. So we'll start this over again. I hear the music
Down in
my soul. I hear the music.
I hear the music
Down in my soul.
down in my soul. I hear the music down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home.
I got a new day
Down in my soul.
I got a new day.
I got a new day
down
in my soul.
I got a new day
Down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home.
I love the silence.
I love the silence
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
I love the silence.
I love the silence
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
I love the silence.
I love the silence
Down in my soul.
and the whole wide world is my home.
I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power
I feel the power
down in my soul.
down in my soul.
I feel the power
I feel the power
down in my soul.
down in my soul, and the whole wide world is my home.
And the
Whole wide world is my home.
Thank you very much. Ibandra.
Thanks. So now it's time for our offering. You know, I'm the treasurer, so I know y'all's gifts have been so generous this year, what we've been able to do in this sanctuary and all, and I appreciate everything. So today, as the offering is passed, just bless it. If you give online or you give the offering. So let's begin on that. Okay. Sure. I guess I may as well. Okay. Well, first of all, I want you all to be aware that every day for the meditation class has been open to, you don't have to have attended the whole time. And Beverly has been doing different little techniques, and it's so wonderful. So if you wish to stay with us this afternoon, it's from 1 to 4. So go grab a quick bite and come back if you want to. We would love to have anybody join us today. So what's up? What else is up?
We have the Paradiso. I'm sorry.
You did that so good last week.
Rasamai. I'm a little under the weather today. Sound Healing Concert, which is this Wednesday from 7 to 9, and then the workshop is Thursday from 7 to 9.
Right. And I believe Sounds of Unity is coming up this weekend. And what else is?
Oh, we have Sounds of Unity is Friday. Laura Lynn is in the house, and Laura Lynn, I know there's some flyers back there for people to take, and please pass out at their place of business. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
Oh, wow.
Thank you. Yes. And Amazing Grace was truly amazing hearing all of you sing that. That was awesome. And I wanted to mention that because of the concert that's happening this Wednesday, the Songwriters Group has been postponed a week, so they're going to be meeting next week, Wednesday, at the same time, right, Bill? Which is, it's not, what time do you guys meet, 6:30? He'll have to check your calendar.
6:30, yeah, 6:30.
WOW is meeting this Saturday, which is St. Patrick's Day, and Thea Bean will be doing our intuitive painting workshop, and we also will be plarning. We have Cherry, she's not here, but she's got her garden club. She's got people there who are making.
Oh wow, we're getting out in the public.
We're getting out in the community. In fact, I hate to say this, but I'm going to say this. We need more plastic bags. We need more bags. We went through thousands of plastic bags that you guys brought in here. Pardon me? Sure. So, Pam came up to us. We take plastic bags. We straighten them out. We cut them into 3-inch strips. We take those strips and we tie them together and we put them into a ball. We then crochet them using a big crochet hook, and we hand those out to the homeless in the area. They are used to sit on. We make them into mats. There's one in the back room that's all finished.
Yeah, we have an official plarning room.
We have official plarning room. We do. They sit on them, and we make them 6 foot long, so they put that on the ground as a barrier between the ground being wet and the cold with their blanket. We also put a carrying strap on them, and also one to tie it together, so that makes it easy, so that they have a lot of things that they're carrying. There is a shoulder strap for them. So this is going to be an ongoing community project. As all of you know who've been involved, it is labor intensive, but a labor of love. So we have bags back there. We have plarn back there. We have a couple mats finished. So please, next Saturday, come and plarn with us. If you have any questions about that, please see me or Pam in the back, who brought it to our attention. We'll be happy to. Plarn, plastic yarn. That is actually a word.
It's a real word.
It's a real word. It is a real word. I know. Russ didn't believe me either, but yes, it is a real word. You want to talk about the town hall
Yes,
meeting?
okay, and one more thing. It's such a busy week next week, but I hope you can participate in all of it. There is a town hall meeting, though, after service. It's our annual meeting, and you need to update your membership. It's so easy. You can do it on the web in like 30 seconds. And so be prepared to stay for about an hour or so after service. Thank you.
Great. Is there anything else?
No, just when I say it, there is refreshments in the community room after service if you'd like to stay and go over there and mingle a little bit. There's always refreshments there.
Oh, thank you. So it's time to circle up.
Let's get in the center.
Sure. You don't want to hear me sing this song.
No, would you start it, though, Vonda? If you don't have to
I can
continue.
start it. I just can't do that Mary Jane note. Jane. I'm happy to start it.
Oh, I got it.
Say the, yeah.
Oh, yes.
So, together.
Hey, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God washes over us. I am the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. I'll start strong and meander. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. If God is our creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin. I need a lower range. With me. That's the Minnie Mouse finish. Good Lord.